Yeah, so the exercise I gave, most of you did it right. For example, let me just open one that did a great work. Yeah, there is, for example, this one. Yeah, the first question was to add Maki package, and I said you add it using the Jupyter notebook, not using the Julia application. You are to add it using the Jupyter notebook, not the Julia REPL. So some of you did it on Julia REPL. Of course, if you do it on Julia REPL, there is no way you can send it to me unless you send uh, a screenshot. But that one is a very tedious job. The easiest job was to just do it on notebook, then you download that notebook and send it to me. And again, some of you downloaded the wrong format. I said that if you come to this section written file, then go to download as, choose the one that is choose the one that is written notebook, because if you download it as a text, there is no way I can load it on my notebook. But if you send it to me in notebook form, I can load it as a notebook. Then I just see whatever you are doing on your end. For example, this student, you see, he sent me, she sent me her assignment, her exercise in form of a notebook. Now I can see all things he was doing in that notebook. First of all, he used the title Add Maki, which is commendable because he was doing something that we did in that class. Then using pkg, now that this is how you add package on notebook using pkg. Then pkg.add, then you write Maki the same way. You write it this way because I told you Julia is case sensitive. So if you write it with the small letters, it won't add that package. If you misspell it, I saw many people were writing Maki this way, they were adding C there. They were adding C there, then it was not running. So you must spell it very well. You must use the same format that I demonstrated in class. Then another work was to recreate the hello world, and then you assign a variable. You assign it to a variable. So she created hello world. Yes, here it is, and the variable was G. I said the variable can take anything. G, it can take greeting, anything. So the variable was G. Oh, sorry. The variable was G in this case, and that is the work he did. Commendable. He got all marks, 5 out of 5. As I said, that exercises will be 5 marks, and we'll be having how many exercises? We shall be having 6 exercises, 2 assignments, and 1 final project. So exercise 5 marks each. 5 times 6, that is 30. So 30 marks for exercises, 15 marks for assignments, and we shall be having 2 assignments, one every week. For example, at the end of this week, we shall have the first assignment. Then at the end of next week, we shall have the second assignment and a project. Because by next week Friday, tutakuwa tumemaliza introduction to Julia. So those who will need to do Julia again, they'll do intermediate Julia and advanced Julia. But the introduction part, we are doing it for 2 weeks. Yeah? This is the first week ending Friday. Yeah, so certificates will be given on merit. I cannot give you people certificates kama mjafanya the assignments and the project. Those are the assessments that will determine whether you are getting the certificate or not. And it is good to have a programming certificate, by the way. So very very important, which could be a very inaweza boost your CV that you know something in Julia programming. And Julia programming is a unique programming. So all of you who will do Julia programming, you will be unique in your own ways, because uh, there is no in every 10 people you meet, all of them don't know Julia. That's a fact. So those people who know Julia are very few, because Julia is a new language and it came in 2012. Remember, other languages were created in the year 18 something or 1930s, 1940s, like C++, C language, C++, C hash, Python. Those languages were created long ago, R, very long ago. That is why they are they are known. They are more known than Julia. But Julia, excuse me for 1 minute. Hello ma. Ayudo erokamano. Oh, I was receiving a call. Yeah, so Julia was created in 2012. That's why it is not known to many people. But if you check the statistics, like today I was looking at some of the statistics, and I saw that 150,000 people download Julia every month. And they just released a new version. No, it is a trial of a new version 1.9. It is out, and I also downloaded it. Yeah, this version 1.9 of Julia. You see here 1.9.0. So this is not the version, this is a trial version. They release it, then you users download it, you try using it, then you give them feedback how it is working. So if it is not working well, they'll adjust. If it is working well, they'll maintain it. Then they'll release now the actual version. This is a trial version. So I've seen a question. Do you need net to add some of the packages and codes in Julia? Yes. To add a package, you need network connection. By the way, somebody also was struggling to add a package, and it was telling there was an error message that the package is not okay. Shadrach, welcome. Uh, he was getting a feedback, an error message that the package does not exist, simply because he had not yet connected. He had not connected his device to Wi-Fi or hotspot. So to add a package, you must connect it to a network. To do those other things, you can do without even network. Yeah, so I think we can start the first. We can start with our first thing in today's lesson. Today we want to learn string interpolation. So last lesson we did up to string. Last lesson we did up to string, but what we did in last lesson was just Julia lesson 1. What we did in last lesson was just telling you how you can write string, how you can uh, how you can write string as a data type. So today we want to look at how you can interpolate the strings. Yeah, let me go back. Yeah, so last time, yeah, we were here. Last time in string, I only told you how to write string. That string is written between the double quotation marks. We write strings in, between the double quotation marks. You can even write it between triple quotation mark. You can write between triple or double. But why should you write triple? That is too much work. Just write string using the double quotation marks. And the string we wrote was Morris. Here it is. Then we assigned the string to a variable known as greeting. Then we printed greeting. Actually, the work of printing, if you print the string, you get the word. Now, in term, the word that will be printed out won't be stringed. If I say won't be stringed, I mean it won't appear between the speech marks, the quotation marks. If you print, only the word comes out. So that was the difference. And that is what I told you people to do in the second exercise. Yeah, the first exercise, the second was to recreate the hello world greeting and assign it to a variable. Some of you did not assign it to a variable. So you must assign it to a variable. Um, Back to today's business. Today is lesson 2. So I'm going to let us all open Jupyter Notebook. Let us all open Jupyter Notebook. So I believe all of you are here. If you are not yet here, then open this place. Open that space. Oh, kuna assignment imetumwa sahi. Let me see. So I believe all of you have opened the space. Now, after opening it, I want you to create a new notebook for today's lesson. Create a new I want you to create a new notebook for today's class. That is, go to new. After going to new, select Julia. All of you must be knowing that one. After opening new, go to Julia. Then it is untitled. You can title it. How did we title the last lesson? Julia lesson 1. So this is Julia lesson 2. Julia lesson 2. Yeah, it's done. So in this lesson, we are going to look at what is called string interpolation. So we can create that heading, string interpolation. Write string interpolation, then go to this section written code and go to heading, then it is done. Shift enter, then the heading is there. So string interpolation is the first thing we are looking at today. I said today's class is going to end very early because there are some activities going on that I must attend. So we are going to spend almost only 40 minutes, then the lesson is over. So all of you have done that. Now, what is string interpolation? This statement says we can use the symbol $sign to insert an existing variables in a string. To insert existing variables in a string and or carry out evaluations in a string. So I will demonstrate what that statement say with an example. So I said a string, you write a string using the symbol double quotation. And I also told you how you assign a variable to a string. So I'm going to assign some variables to a string. Let's say name. The first variable is name. Let's say name is Morris. I've used Morris a lot, but let me just pick a name of anybody in the lesson. Edwin Samuel. Let's say the name is Edwin Samuel. Name Edwin Samuel. Let me use small letters for that. Edwin Samuel. Then Edwin Samuel, we give you an age. Age. Let's say how old can you be? You can be Edwin Samuel is
Around
50 years old. Of course, you are young. Then what else can we give Edwin Samuel apart from name and age? We can give you a school. School. Edwin Samuel is from Tuk. Then apart from the school, which is Tuk, what else can we give you? We can give you let us give you hometown. Hometown. Edwin Samuel is coming from Shakahola. Tunajua utoki huko Samuel bwana, lakini let's use this one as an example. Yeah, now I will not run this thing. I'll just add another shell after that. So I believe you are also doing the same thing that I'm doing on your end. Okay, you can see first, then do, or you can do as I do. But doing as I do means you may not see some things. So wait, I do, then you do. I don't know whether that English is correct. Wait, I do, then you do. Now, after writing all these, remember I did not press Shift Enter. I was pressing Enter just to go beneath the. For example, beneath the name is age, beneath age is school. I was just pressing Enter. If you press Shift Enter, it will run it will run the name and it will create another shell for output. So don't do that. Just press enter to go beneath that one in the same line. Remember, we are still in one shell. We have not gone to the next shell, and instead of we've gone to the second shell by just pressing this clicking this add symbol. You see that symbol written add? That is what we have pressed. That is what we've clicked to add this other shell. So in this other shell, i'm going to create another I'm going to create another string with with uh, with blank spaces, uh, with blank spaces, so that we can enter these variables that we have written here in those blank spaces. So the string I'm going to create is this. Let me use capital letters. My name is dash, full stop. I am dash years old, full stop. I'm a comma. Grammar doesn't matter here. I study in let me say I am a student at dash, my hometown. I come from The hometown from dash city. Yes, Shakahola is not a city. Maybe it is a village. Dash village. So you have these variables. You want to as you have these variables, and these variables, some of them are strings. These are string. Samuel, Edwin, Edwin, Samuel. This is a string. Took is a string. Shakahola is a string. But the age 50 is not a string. It is an integer, int 64. So we want to fill out the blank spaces using the variables that are present there. So I said that to do that, we use the dollar sign symbol. Use the dollar sign symbol to insert existing variables. So the variables are already there. Here are the variables. So we add those variables in this empty string, not empty string, in this blank spaces string, so that we complete the blank spaces. So my name is, the name, it was Edwin. So you just enter the dollar sign, then instead of writing Edwin, just write the variable name. Name. My name is name. But Julia knows that name was assigned to a variable was assigned to name. A string was assigned to the variable name. So wherever there is name, Julia will print out the name itself, but not the name as a variable. I hope you are understanding. So my name is name. I am dash years old. Let us insert the age. I am dollar sign, then age. I am age years old. I am I am a student at then the school at dollar sign, then school. I come from dash village, dollar sign, then hometown. And in this hometown, let me delete this space. Let it be hometown. I come from the hometown. Hometown. Now run it now by pressing shift enter. Name not defined. Yes, the reason why it was saying name not defined was because I did not include the second shell when I was running. So when you are running on your end, ensure that you run everything by running one by one. You can run that one, shift enter, shift enter. But there is a shortcut for running everything at once. You come in this section written cell. After clicking cell, then run all below. It will run it. What am I saying? It will run every shell or every cell. In the REPL it is called shell. Here it is called cell. So it will run every cell from the one that you have highlighted. For example, you see the shell that I am at right now is this shell written input 4. So if you come to cell and run all below. It will run all cells below the cell written input 4 up to input 5. So you can do like you can do the same, and then you can see the final thing is here. The one that I'm highlighting is the final output, that my name is Edwin Samuel. I am 50 years old. I am a student at TUK. I come from Shakahola village. So you see, what we have done is we have interpolated. We have interpolated this string to accommodate the variables that we had in our line 4 or cell 4 or input 4. So we had four variables: name, age, school, hometown. Then we had a string with blank spaces. We filled the blank spaces by inserting those variable names using the dollar sign. Now let me copy the initial thing. Let me copy this. Let me copy it and paste it here. So there is something I want to do. You know, it must necessarily be a variable. Remember, name, age, school, hometown, they were variables, but you can also fill this statement using another string, using other strings or using integers without assigning them to a variable. So I want to demonstrate that one. Now in this way, you just enter directly what you want to enter there. For example, my name is, let me get another name here. My name is Samuel. No, these Samuels are so many. I've used Samuel already. Let me use another name. Let me use Eugene. So my name is Eugene. My name is Eugene. And remember, I told you people that to write a string, you must string it. You must write it between the double quotation marks. So my name is Eugene. The reason why we didn't write name inside double quotation marks was because name is a variable and it has a string assigned to it. So that is the difference. So in this case, we don't have these are not variables, so we enter them as strings. So my name is Edwin. I am 30 years old. I am a student at uh, Kenyatta University. Let's use another university because we also have students from other universities here. University. I come from, which village do you come from? I come from Shimoni. Oh, I've done a mistake and you people cannot tell me. I did not string Kenyatta University. It must be stringed. I come from Shimoni. You must string, so let me string this one and let me run. Yeah, it will complete it. My name is Edwin. I am 30 years old. I am a student at Kenyatta University. I come from Shimoni village. So if you want to drop the stringing, you can print. You can just print using the print function, print ln, then you print all these. Inserted that bracket, you must close the bracket. Yeah, if you print, then it will give you the statement without the double quotation marks. So my name is Edwin. I am 30 years old. I am a student at Kenyatta University. I come from Shimoni village. So that is interpolation. So because ladies and gentlemen, this is a language, Julia is a language, and as you know, all languages, you master all languages by speaking that language. If you want to know English, you must speak English. If you want to know French, you must speak French. So in this language called Julia also, you must speak in Julia for you to know Julia. And because Julia is not spoken, you must write codes in Julia for you to know Julia. So after you knowing how to string, I want us to do how many examples? I want us to do 6 examples. I will do 4. You will do 2 on your end. Okay, I will do, let me just do 3, then you do 1, and 2 will be your exercise for today. So the first one, create a string variable that includes your name and age using string interpolation. That is very easy, and that is what we have done in that lesson, in that part. So I'm not going to redo that one. Create a variable with the value of pi and use string interpolation to display it with 4 decimal places. Okay. Oh, so sorry. I lost my network. Huh? I lost my network, and I see. Yeah. Okay, may you please tell me what I said last, because maybe I was speaking alone. May you please tell me what I was speaking last? Mtu aniambie, you can unmute and then tell me the last thing I said. Or if you don't mute, you can just type it there in the message section so that I know what I was saying last. Uh, Siniambie bana. Let's save time. Huh? I'll just maybe call somebody to tell me what I was saying last. Samuel, Edwin, what was I saying? Eugene, what was I saying last before I lost my connection?
You forgot to string something.
Oh. Then nimeacha mbali sana basi. So you did not see this section, you did not see this question I was reading. Create a variable with the value pi.
Ulijisomea.
Oh, sawa. So I was then I believe I was here. I was saying that I was saying that when you are not using when you are not using a variable, you must string the name. You must okay, age is an integer, so you cannot string an integer. An integer, you just write it the way it is. Then Kenyatta University is a name, you string it as well. Shimoni is a place, which is a name, you string it as well. So if you run this one, you are going to get, my name is Edwin Samuel, I am 50 years old, I am a student at TUK, I come from Shakahola village. But if you print it out, you are going to get you are going to get it to get the outcome without the double quotation marks. So my name is Edwin, I'm 30 years old, I'm a student at Kenyatta University, I come from Shimoni village, without the quotation marks. Now after that, I wanted us to now do some examples. And the first example was here: create a string variable that includes your name and age using string interpolation. So I'm not going to do this because we have done something similar to this in the previous example. So we are going to number 2 direct. And number 2 says create a variable with the value of pi and use string interpolation to display it with 4 decimal places. So this one is a little advanced, but it is not difficult. So I want you to look at it very keenly. I want you to look at it very keenly. So number 1, if you look at your keyboard, you are not going to see any symbol of pi anywhere. You are not going to see pi anywhere in your keyboard. There is a shortcut for pi, of course, but the shortcut for most of your keyboards may not work because the shortcuts only work for the keyboard that has the number section. So to write pi, let me demonstrate how you are going to write pi. There is this symbol here. I hope you can see that symbol. The symbol I have just typed there. You can type that symbol. After typing that symbol, write pi. After writing pi, then press the tab button. Press tab. Then the pi symbol is going to come. So that is how you write pi. I'll repeat. Click or press that button with that symbol. After pressing the button with that symbol, then write pi. Remember, it is
You're not sharing your screen.
hello. Wow. Oh, tuliambiwa Mombasa bado ni tricky. Then niko class. Wacha tuongee after class. Guys, I'm very sorry. You people, I was just speaking to myself, but you cannot tell me that I was speaking to myself. You can just unmute and tell me, because when I'm on the presentation mode, I cannot see what you type here. So if you type, I cannot see the screen. I'm also not seeing what you have typed, what you are typing. So sorry for that. Meaning I was again speaking alone. You can just unmute and tell me we are not seeing the screen. Yeah, back to this. Yeah, back to the question. Create a variable with the value of pi and use string interpolation to display it with 4 decimal places. Now, I was demonstrating how you can write pi uh, on Julia, because if you look at your keyboard, you will not see pi anywhere. You are not going to see any symbol of pi. So there are some other shortcuts for writing pi, but they are too difficult. And for your laptops, some may not be compatible for that shortcut. So this is how you are going to write pi. There is that symbol. Remember, that symbol and this are two different things. This is different from this. So the one we are using is this. Type that symbol and then write pi. After writing pi, then press tab. Press tab. Then the pi symbol is going to write itself there. All right? Sawa. Back to the question. The question wants you to create a variable. So the first thing is create a variable. So let's create a variable. We can name this variable. What name can we give the variable? Let us call it pi variable. Pi variable. Pi variable. Then pi variable is pi is equals to pi. Now we said that pi, you write pi this way. Yes, and that is pi for you. After writing pi variable, what is the next statement? The next statement says, and use string interpolation to display the variable that you have written with 4 decimal places. So we are not just displaying the variable, we are displaying it with 4 decimal places. So before we display it with 4 decimal places, let us just display it without the decimal places and see. So like, we can run that, no problem. So let's display pi. So let us string. We can string an empty string. $, then variable. The pi variable, of course, pi. So instead of writing the whole thing, you can just write the first 2 statements, then you press tab and you auto finish, auto complete it like that. Print. So pi is going to be printed there, right? So that is how we've run pi. Of course, we have not given the value of pi. We have just run it like a string. So maybe if you print, it will print the value of pi. If you print, it will print the value. So let's go to the instruction again. So the instruction wanted us to display it with 4 decimal places. So you remember pi has so many decimal places. So for you to come up with 4 decimal places, you must round it off. So to round it off, you use the round. There is a function called round. You see this function that I have highlighted here, written round. So that is the one you use to round off the pi into to round off to 4 decimal places. So the remaining procedure will just remain. The only thing that will change is on that round off function. So let us do that. So let us just do the printing direct. Print. So what are we printing? We are printing a string. So yeah, we are printing a string. So let us give this string some values. Let us let us write something inside the string. We can say uh, the value of pi is, yes, the value of pi is, then you interpolate. Remember, we want to write that pi, so you interpolate that part. And remember what we are interpolating, we are rounding off. So you include the round of the round function. So what are we rounding off? We are rounding off pi variable pi variable and we are rounding off pi variables to 4 decimal places. So how many digits? 4 decimal places. You can just write 4 digits. Digits is equals to 4. Then run. So we've performed the miracle. You can now read the statement. The value of pi is 3.1416. We have rounded it off to 4 decimal places. So let this one not worry you too much, because we shall do function in our lesson. I think it is lesson 4. Lesson 4. Oh no, lesson 3. Lesson 3 we shall do something to do with functions. So in lesson 3, which is on Friday, you will know how we do functioning. But all along we've been writing functions. So we've written so many functions since we started. But now we will do function officially on Friday. So don't worry about the round off part. We shall look at all these on Friday. So that was question 2. I did it. We can do question 3. Ask the user for their name and age, and then use string interpolation to display a message that includes both value, the value of the name and the value of the age. So that one we've done already, so we can just do it again. When we do more, it sticks. So we can do it again. So let me just get any name. With string. We can use function, we can use variables, we can write without using variables. So my name is Julia. With string, I Julia is how many years old? Julia is 12 years old. Julia not defined. Oh yes, Julia is not defined. I've made a mistake, and of course all of you know the mistake that I've made. I said that if it is not a variable, you must string it. So I did not string Julia, and I did not put it inside the bracket.
Share
So
screen, Baba. Share screen. Hello. Share screen.
oh, sawa sawa. Does it mean you didn't see the last codes that I ran?
Just start the Julia thing.
Okay. So I believe you saw how we did the pi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sawa sawa. So the reason why it was bringing an error message was because I did not string Julia. So I have corrected it, and you can see my name is Julia. I am 12 years old. But if you want to print it without the string symbols, you know what to do. You just print. You just print. You can write print, or you can you can say X is that thing. After saying X is that whole thing, then you just print X. X not defined. It is not defined because I did not run X, then run this. Yeah, if you run it, you'll get my name is Julia. I am 12 years old. So that is question, which question? That is question 3. Then question 4. Create a string variable that includes the result of adding 5 and 7 using string interpolation to display equation and the result. So I'm going to create that one. Number 1, create a string variable. So we are starting with the string variable. In this exercise, just follow the way the instructions are being indicated and you will not go wrong. So number 1, we are told to create a string variable of 2 values. So I'm going to create the variables. So let's name them. What can we name them? Let's name them. I've used X here, so I don't want to use X again. So let's say let's call them value 1, value 1. Let's say maybe the value 1 is 8. Value 2, value 2 may be 29. Then so we've created the variables. What is the next statement saying? That increase the results. Now we want to have we have to have an interpolation which will give the results of adding 5 and 7 using string interpolation, and the interpolation must display the equation and the result, meaning not only the result, you must get something like this. Let me bring a cell here. We have 8 and 29. So the final thing should read 8 plus 29 is equals, what is 8 plus 29? 37 is equals to 37. So that is what we want to create. But we want to create it using string interpolation. So let's do it. We can print, of course, print ln. I know sometimes you see me write print ln, sometimes you see me write print only without ln. I'll tell you what those two things mean when we maybe in lesson 3 or 4 or 5. There's a slight difference. But at this stage you can use any and it will work for you. So print. Now what do we want to print? We want to print the sums. We want to print first of all the first variable, the second variable, and then the answer. We add, then we get the answer. So everything that is inside there is a string. So we must start by string symbol. After string symbol, we interpolate the first variable. We interpolate using the first variable. The first value is 8. So we say value 1. Value 1. And then we are adding. Now, when we are adding, write again the interpolation sign, the dollar sign. Then write value 2. You write value 2. You don't... yes, you write value 2. Then, because we want to get the answer as well, use equal sign. Then use the interpolation sign again. Then now you use a bracket because the answer is only 1, so it must appear inside the bracket, and the answer is value 1 plus value 2. So that is the answer is the sum, value 1 plus value 2. So write value 1 plus value 2. Then you run. After running, you will see 8 plus 29 is equals to 37, meaning 8 was our first value, 29 was the second value, and 37 is the answer. You can look back again how we wrote the first value. We we wrote it using the interpolation sign. We did not include any bracket while writing the first value and the second value. We only introduced brackets while writing the answer, and the answer was the sum of the first value and the second value, which is 28, 29, and 8. If for example you included the bracket in the first stage, then the answer 8 plus 29 could not have been printed out. It could have only printed 37, because a bracket instructs Julia to print everything that is inside the bracket, meaning it will solve it first. It is similar to the rule of BODMAS in mathematics. If you include bracket, then you work out everything that is inside the bracket first before you work out the others that are outside the bracket. So that is the difference. Let us see the next one. The next one is question 5. Okay, I'll just do this one. Then, this one should be your assignment. No, let me do this one. Then you do number 6 as your exercise. So define two variables with numerical values and use string interpolation to display the sum, difference, product, and quotient of the two numbers. So the first statement says define two variables. So we must define those variables first. So variables, let's give them a name. Let's just name them the way they are named in the question. Number 1 is the first variable. We can give it a value, let's say 20. Then number 2 is the second variable. We can name it 37, something like that. Then what is the next statement saying? The next statement says use string interpolation to display the sum, the difference, the product, and the quotient. So here you must you must use them independently. Sum independent from difference, from product, from quotient, meaning we are going to have 4 lines to print out. Now let us start with the sum. Let us start with the sum. So print ln, then bracket. Let us interpolation. Use string. Don't forget to include the string symbol, which is the double quotation marks. Then because we want to print out sum, let us just write sum and then introduce a colon or semicolon to indicate that we are doing the sum. Then now use the interpolation sign, which is the $sign, and write everything that you want to sum inside the $sign. And because we have variables, which is number 1 and number 2, we don't string the variables. We only string a name which is not assigned to a variable. So write number 1 plus number 2. Remember, it is case sensitive. So if I wrote numbers with small letters, I must write it here with small letters as well. If I used capital, then I do capital here as well. Number 1 plus number 2. So that is for the sum. I don't want to print it out first. Let us just write all 4, then we print out at once. So number 2, line 2, we are printing subtraction or difference. Print ln, introduce bracket, introduce the string signs, just write difference, difference, maybe colon or semicolon, the one you want. Then what are we doing? We are interpolating. We are interpolating, and in this one we do the difference, 20 minus 37. So number 1 minus number 2. We are done. Just go to the next one, which may be product. The next one is product, yes. So print ln, we are doing product, and yes, interpolate the product of number 1 and number 2, and the product symbol is asterisk. I think it is called asterisk if I'm not wrong, that symbol, number 1 times number 2. We are done with the product. We go to the next one, which is quotient, and the quotient from class 3, you know, it is division. Quotient, let me just write QT to mean quotient, then $, bracket, number 1, so the quotient sign is that one, divide by number 2. So there is something I want to do, because if I run these things the way they are, it will introduce a certain number type which I don't want you to see, because if you see it at this stage, you will be confused. So let me just write numbers that can fit well, 20 and 10. Now let us run this one. Oh, print li, there is a point I wrote print li instead of print ln. Now you see how beautiful the answers are displayed. Sum is 30, of course. 20 plus 10 is 30. Difference is 10. 20 minus 10 is 10. Product is 200. Product is 200. Of course, 20 times 10 must be 200. Quotient is 2.0. 20 divided by 10, it must be 2.0. And I will tell you the reason why it is written 2.0 and not 2 only, and not 2, but not today. Because if you use this sign, this symbol is a symbol used for division, but there are other symbols used for division as well. And those other symbols used for division, like this one that I have typed, this one, if you divide anything, any numbers using this symbol, the division symbol that you learned in primary school, if I use this one, then it will give an answer as an integer, because here in Julia it is called integer division. It is not called just division. It is integer division. So let me just replace here. Let me replace this symbol with the integer division symbol. Yes, that one, and see the answer. You see now the answer is 2. So that is the difference, because 2 and 2 and 2.0 are two different things. The first one is an integer, one is an integer, one is a float. So I told you how to check the type of anything that you type. So if you write type of 2, you will be told that it is int 64. If you write type of 2.0, you'll be told it is float 64. So there are two. Float is a decimal and integer is a whole number. So what if you are solving maybe you are solving an arithmetic that has both integer and float? What will be the answer? Let's say 2 plus 7.0. The answer will be 9.0, a float. The reason why all floats or all integers can be converted into a float, but not all floats can be converted into an integer. For example, there is no way you can convert 5.5 into an integer. You cannot using any method. There is no method for converting that. An integer must be a whole number. A float can be a decimal. And even if you have a fraction and you solve the fraction, then you are going to get your answer as an integer, as a float, not an integer. So I have explained that. So today we were to also do let me see the course outline. We were to do so many things, but we have only done string interpolation. We have not even done we have not even done we have not done string indexing. So we were to do arrays, vector arrays, and matrix arrays. We are not going to do it in this class because it's very late. Tumebakisha tu 10 minutes na tuwashe hii lesson. We are only going to do interpolation and part of indexing. Basic arithmetics, we are not going to do that because every time we do arithmetics, even what we did here is just arithmetics, addition, subtraction, multiplication. And so I'm going to introduce what is called string indexing, then we finalize our lesson there. String indexing, so you can add that one, add a subtopic. This is lesson 2, string indexing. After writing string indexing, make it a heading. Okay, then shift enter, string indexing. So string indexing, what string indexing mean is, this is the process of isolating individual characters within a string by index or position. You remember index 1, index 2. Index is just another name for position, but index must be a whole number. You cannot have index 1.7. So indexing is all about integers. So in indexing, we are only going to deal with integers only. There is no decimals in indexing. So here I wrote alphabets A, B, C, D up to Z. Then I gave them indexes. A is 1, 2, 3. Then Z is 26. So I want us to create a variable called alphabet, and then index that variable. But before I create that alphabet, let us just index whatever we did with greetings. There is this variable called greeting that I created in our last class. So let us index greeting, and the greeting was hello world. Hello world was the greeting. Run the greeting hello world. Now we want to index that one. Oh, Lynn, you have joined when we are having only 10 minutes to the end of the lesson. But you will get the recording, so don't worry. You can just listen to what we are saying in indexing. So we want to index, and to index, you use the variable that you assigned to the string. So the variable that we used was greeting. So you just write greeting, or it was written using capital, greeting. And I have told you that to complete, just press tab. You don't have to type everything. After typing greeting, it is stored somewhere in the memory of Julia. So when typing it again, you don't need to type everything. Just type the first 3 letters or first two, then press tab, and it will complete it for you automatically. So the string symbol is that symbol that I've pressed. The square brackets. The string symbol is the square bracket. So the indexing symbol is the square bracket. So in other programming languages, indexing start at 0. All those who do C++, I see a lot of students from this Julia class are mathematicians, and you do data structure, and you do also computer programming. I believe the one that is used mostly in TOEIC, because most of you are TOEIC students, is always C++. And when indexing any array in C++, you start with 0. 0 is the first index. But in Julia, 0 is not the first index. The first index in Julia is 1. Meaning, if you want to index 1, this variable, these are the characters in the variable. The string, it has how many characters? Hello world has how many characters? Hello has 5, world has 5. So there are 10 characters here. So if you write 1, it will tell you the first character. What is the first character? Press shift enter. The first character is H. So you see H. Hey, welcome, Banana. You've come when we are having only 7 minutes to the end of the class, but you will just grasp some wisdom. So if you write 1, it will tell you that in greeting, the first character is H, and it will go on to tell you the category of H. It will tell you that H is a letter. Then it will also tell you that it is a lowercase letter. You see how beautiful it is? Yes, so that is how you string that value. So what about, what if you want to string the word hello only? You want to have the word hello. You'll write greeting, then the word hello has 5 characters. So it means we are going to string from 1 to 5. We are going to index from 1 to 5. So that is how you write 2 using the colon 1 to 5. Then shift enter. It will no. There is a mistake I made. You don't write an equal sign. 1 to 5. What is wrong, bwana? Uh-huh. What's wrong? What's wrong? Greeting. Yes. I was running the line that had error. So if that happens, you must run from the top again. You must go to the top and start running downwards. So if you want to string the hello part alone, you just string that like that. 1 to 5. Hello was from 1 to 5. I know you saw me write 1 to 5. I'll tell you what that means. Yeah, what if you want to string, you want to string from the last word, the last character to the first character. Let's say you want to string from this letter D up to letter H, the first character. You'll do this way, yeah. Or let's string everything from hello to world. Then we'll do from world to hello. So to string everything, just write greeting. And remember, sometimes you may not know how many characters are there. So you just write greet from 1, then you write 1 again, then end. So the first one is the first character. You print the first character. The second one means you go you don't jump any character, like you go to each and every character. Then end means the last character. So if you run this, you are going to print the whole hello world. What if here we add 2? What if we add 2 here? This means you are going to have steps from the first character. You jump the second character, you go to the second, you jump the third, you go to the fourth. That is what these 2 means. So these are just steps. So because you are not jumping any step, you write 1, then it will print everything. What if you wanted to print from the last character to the first one? It means you start with the end. All right, so greeting, greeting. Now you start from the end, colon. Then remember the steps. The first steps were we were doing 1 steps, meaning we don't jump any step, we don't jump any character. But because we are moving from right to left, we don't use 1, we use -1, because we are moving towards the opposite direction, then to 1. You see what is written there? We've started from the last character, which is D, L. So you see it has been written upside down, from hello world to something that I cannot read. To something I cannot read. So that is just an introduction of indexing. We shall do more indexing later, because I don't want the lesson to be 2 hours. We shall do some indexing later. And as I also told you people that tutakuwa tunafanya some story. Tutafanya hiyo story on Friday. Then I'm going to give you an assignment. I'm going to give you today's exercise, which should be sent to me before tomorrow's class. And yesterday I think 10 people submitted. So if you do not submit, you can start with yesterday's exercise, then combine with today's exercise, because remember, certificates will be offered on merit. We shall not offer certificates to anyone who has not done any assignment or any exercise of the project, because TechServe Institute also must have a name. If we create good programmers, then we get the credit. But if we certify somebody and is not even a programmer, then that is a disservice. So let me give you the today's exercise. So today's exercise, you are going to start with this one. Define a variable with a list of your favorite foods and use string interpolation to display them in a sentence. I'm waiting for you to write it down, or write it in your notebook, Julia notebook, so that you do it. Define a variable with a list of your favorite foods and use string interpolation to display them in a sentence. That is an exercise on interpolation. I'm also going to give you an exercise on indexing. we have done indexing, but just a little bit. But that little bit we have done, I'm also going to give you an exercise there. So the exercise on indexing is define. This is exercise 2, exercise 2. Define. Yeah, I have created this one. Define a variable with 26 alphabet letters. You see these alphabet letters. Define a variable with 26 alphabet letters and use string indexing to create any 4 words. So I'll just give a small illustration of what I expect, then you do the remaining by yourself. So this is what I expect, that you create a variable with the 26 alphabetical letters. You can name the variable alphabet or anything, or X or Y. So let me name mine alphabet. Then you string. Write those alphabet letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I won't finish. F, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So let me leave it at that point. So in these alphabet letters, I want to create the word lab using string indexing. So how do I create the word lab? So I want to encourage you to only create 3-letter words, because creating a very long word will be tiresome to you, and you might incur errors. So I'm going to create the word lab using indexing. So no, I'm just going to. I've just realized that this exercise, you want to manage this exercise, because this exercise will involve another function called join. So I'll not give you this exercise. So just do that first exercise, the one I've given of string interpolation, then leave it there. On Friday, I'll tell you how you can join many words to create one word using indexing. Today we cannot do that one. So the lesson is over. You can now leave. Remember to submit your assignments before Friday's class. Unless there is a question, you can leave. Hey, washa la kando. Basi imeisha. Universe. Huyu msee anaitwa Ngwari. Huyu mzee wa 8B, si ndio? Yaani sijazima hii recording. F10. Where is F10?